Good morning. It's like 9:40 UTC on Thursday, the 22nd of August. So, looking from Bitcoin yesterday to today, we had the wonderful move up, which was expected, actually went higher than the previous level. And as we said earlier in the week, this is because we are technically trending up from that move up from the 20th. That new high broke previous higher levels. So, that being said, there's quite a bit of long liquidity still stacking below us. All of the shorts, basically this price action here, incentivizing people to short, basically short trapping, still creating higher highs and higher lows. So we are still technically trending up into the upside. The first kind of significant loss would be if you start losing 60K. It's a psychological level, but also we lose some local priority. The big stuff starts happening if we lose the lows that we put in from yesterday. So 58.5, getting below this stuff to target much lower in the structure, which does start to break higher time frame trend. Looking at a higher time frame perspective, again, just to kind of give an idea of like what we're looking at as far as the liquidations, higher time frame. The stuff above us has been building now for 2 weeks, and we still have plenty enough to get us up to like the 64K, potentially even ripping to the 65K zone until we hit a liquidations dead zone where we would want to see some type of potential reversal, at least a little bit of like cooling off period. If that's the gain, we are still in the range. Remember, we popped above 61.4, we closed below it, we did not gain it. So you're technically still at resistance. However, you are still seeing uptrending price action based off of making higher highs and higher lows, which we've been doing effectively since the higher highs were put in on Monday. So I think the big thing here is very simple. We are technically trending up, but still in a range. So we are looking for potential pop to the upside. Keep an eye on that. Pretty impressive if we do, because now we're getting back above like the bigger general range midline, if we think of it that way. The stuff the downside is still building, but until we start losing that priority, we want to still continue to the upside. Put some alerts, I would say at 60, let's see, 60, 58.5. If you create any new lows off of this low, you are technically breaking the upside trend. Looking over at trading light. So trading lights, first thing we'll look at, heat map. Yes, we got some order stacking up here. Pretty looks organic, 61.5. There's a potential failure if we fail to make a new high here for at least some type of retracement back down, right? Break of a low and come back down to retest stuff. So we'll keep an eye on that. Looking at the footprint as far as the local area, yeah, we had a pretty decent reversal the upside. The delta for the previous candles pretty strong as well. All of the major longs are much further below us at 59.5. I would say as long as we're holding the higher lows, we're still looking for continuation. However, we can go pretty deep underneath 59.5 to punish these longs that are in position from yesterday. So that kind of move, if we're thinking about a percentage, 59K, and then obviously if we don't hold the low, we want to be saying something like 58.6, something like that. Yeah. So that would, if we wick all the way to the downside here and don't sweep it, we are then looking for upside, because that would have swept all of the major 100x and 50x longs out of the local structure. For the time being, there's some pretty heavy stuff pretty close to us, but until we start breaking more significant levels, we still have technically upside price action. Looking over at the TPO real quick, I'll look a little bit higher time frame. Still looking pretty strong. A 59.5 retest doesn't sound too crazy, especially given that that's where we get some 59.4s where we have some TPO levels, and then all the way to the downside. Like we said, 58.6. If we do lose that, we would want to start to target that and potentially lower. Any breaks of that low, that's the low that really matters. That's the low that breaks structure. But until then, you've got upturning price action for a potential squeeze out of the range. We just want to see that continue and gain levels. We want to create new highs. Once we start slowing down and not making new higher highs, then we start looking at break of structure once we start creating some new lower lows. Looking over, I think that's it for trading light. Yeah, also we had some decent amount of liquidations in the upside move. Lots of shorts getting liquidated. And then obviously we broke back down pretty hard, punishing those late longs. So, and then some longs liquidated. Generally, the open interest is still reasonably high for this zone, still in the upper areas. So we're definitely still looking for a more powerful liquidation event potentially. Looking at the local stuff here, definitely looking at as far as liquidity goes, 59.6, 59K, like this would be a nice local break if we just break some local structure. But that high leverage liquidity pocket that we had above us, this was definitely taken. So look for these levels here, 59.6, 59.2. This is the local longs that haven't been punished. The problem starts to happen if we break that and then start grinding down and sweeping this low. That's the low, like I said, we don't want to lose because that starts breaking the upside priority, especially on the 4-hour time frame. There is that high leverage liquidity, 57.6, 58.1 still in place. So if we do break this and continue, great. That's kind of the expectation. If we do break it, start losing it, losing that kind of local higher low structure, we are looking for lower. And then now we're starting to break stuff, trend back to the downside. So keep an eye on that. Pretty interesting day. Lots of economic data coming in as well. About an hour before the market opens, there's some I think jobless claims coming in, so that should be a volatility event, especially given that the revising, I think they read that they were going to revise down the U.S. job creation by 818,000, the second largest revision ever. Yeah, so I guess all the nice economic growth has been a lie. What a surprise! In any case, lower leverage stuff below us. There's some dead zones still that are good for targeting. And there's heavy short liquidity above us. The moment we break above, taking us all the way to 64K, potentially even 65. Looking over at the general plan for the TA here. Zoom in a bit. So general plan is we had the gain. What was the gain that we looked for yesterday? It was the gain at 59.5 to go higher. There we go. So we had the nice, we had the bullish back, excuse me. We had the bullish back test of the daily open. That was the inflection point we talked about yesterday. And then we had a higher low from that for continuation. So it looks strong. It continued and it went much further than I expected to go. So all good there. We're seeing that kind of rejection right now, a little bit of swing failure, nothing crazy. It's just back testing stuff correctly before going higher. Currently holding on to the daily open. There is still that retest failure. You know, if we fail to get above this, we want to start seeing a little bit more breakdown, which technically we've already done this, but we can do it again based off of the levels if we start breaking back to the downside. So keep an eye on that. Major points, 61.4, that's obviously the level to gain. That's any new high created is just straight continuation. You're looking to buy higher lows until we create new lows. Even sweeping down to the downside, going back to like 59K, going back even to the previous weekly open at 58.7. 58.7 is when that's the level that we must hold to hold trend. If we break that, create new lows, we are looking to bearishly retest structure and then potentially continue moving to the downside. So that's the only level break that starts to actually break trend. And no matter what happens from that, we could, break down, go much higher. But, idea is we're going back to the downside if we start breaking trend. Invalidation of that, very simply, we're looking for liquidity grab, something that pops up down really hard and then closes strong above previous levels. Then we could consider that a liquidity grab versus a change in trend. We want closes here. Until that happens, you are trending to the upside, which is the important factor. Higher lows are valid for longing until proven otherwise. And yeah, good luck today with the volatility that's coming in. Also tomorrow, there's some stuff expected around half an hour after the market opens with Powell giving a speech. So keep an eye on that. That's just, again, that's the Powell effect. It's a volatility increase, and that's about it. So that's that. Take it easy and catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.